was over for him. How was he going to face those men? Now he wished that he'd been shot in some part of his body that wasn't fatal, where it would be normal for him. 9. To faint, and afterwards he would be seen as a hero. Damn that bakery boy. He heard the men's voices subside. Some have already left. Others were waiting for the guards to move the bodies. There were 5 bodies in total. One of the villagers was killed and the remaining 4 were the bodies of the bandits. The leader was determined to stay hidden behind that rock. He wouldn't move until everyone had gone back. Hours passed. The sun was finally setting. What's wrong with those people? He still heard 2 people talking near the house. Don't those people ever finish? He was losing his mind. He can't wait for too long. On the outskirts of the village it wasn't safe to stay out after dark. There have been reports of wolves. Different thoughts kept running through his head. How was his consultant involved in all this? Was it really just some sort of joke? Or was this a cover-up for the real thieves? At least, the consultant wouldn't be put in a tight spot. That bastard is up to something. Finally, when he heard movement in the distance he got up and started moving towards his palace. He moved and assumed the air of a man injured beyond his senses, or a drunkard not knowing where he is. That was the biggest challenge of his life. Fortunately, the weather was cold, not many people would be on the streets to spot him. It was 9 o'clock when he arrived home. When he entered his wife rushed to him in such a hysterical manner. "Where have you been? I almost dropped dead from a heart attack." "What happened?" "Your face. Don't tell me you were there." It's okay, I'm fine. There's nothing to worry about. Everything will be fine. I just need to rest." But in reality, the battle that took place that day was the least of his worries. His real worry was only just beginning. How was he going to face the men tomorrow? Tomorrow will be his disgrace. He slept what seemed to be many hours. He was surprised when he woke up from his torturous sleep that it was only 12 o'clock. His head was aching. His heart was racing. He survived the day's events, but would he survive the night? To die a coward in his house, what a disgrace. He thought of the men's bravery. He thought of their fearlessness. He looked around. All the paintings, the vases, the fancy furniture, all seemed worthless. They meant nothing now. He has lost everything. It seemed to be the final move before an inevitable checkmate. 10. Maybe he had one last move up his sleeve. Maybe it wasn't over for the king. He looked at his wife. She was asleep. He could wake her up and tell her everything. He'll tell her all that had passed today. He'll even exaggerate a little to give his wife no chance for hesitation. He'll tell that he ran away in the desert. That soldiers were led by the bakery employee. Here his facial expression turned to extreme disgust. He would tell her that in the past he never really wanted that kind of life. He'll tell her they would go to the capital city where no one knew them and they'll begin a new life. They had money. They had lots of money. Suddenly, his face seemed to lighten up. Despite his fatigued body he got out of the bed and to the living room. He has to be careful. Usually 2 guards stay up at night while the other 4 sleep. He could use the back door. No one knows about that. He could sneak out with his wife and children. He'll be very careful not to issue a sound. Yes, when morning comes he'd be long gone. No one will ever find him again. He smiled. Then he smelled something. Cigarette smoke. He looked out of the window. One of the guards was smoking. What? Why is he awake? He looked at the front window. He saw 2 other guards sitting without speaking. Not far from them was the bakery employee. Unbelievable. What was going on? He went back to his bedroom. Just as he was about to wake his wife up he heard a familiar laughter. His heart started beating fast. He went back to the window. It was the consultant. He was sitting with the guards and bakery employee, and there was another whom he didn't recognize. They were all sitting and hardly speaking. Sometimes a word here or there, and the voices were very low. With the wind outside it was quite difficult to make out anything they were saying. He's been had. It was a conspiracy and the consultant was in on it. He had to leave. He must leave. What if the stakes were bigger than just a personal shame? What if his life was in real danger? He went to the other side of the house. He looked out of the back window. Not far from the back door one guard seemed to be cuddled up and asleep. That was his best bet. With the wind and the fatigue of today, that guard would most likely not notice their escape. But what about his children? What if one of them sneezed or made a sound? He couldn't rely on them. He had no choice. If he could only get past that guard, he'd know exactly which streets to take until he reached the village inn where he could easily hire a cab and set off. He prayed for half an hour and supplicated with all his heart. He wept. He made many vows. He repented for all his sins. After finishing all his prayers, he got up. He seemed calm. He had made peace with everything. He moved quietly. He woke up his wife. His words were gentle. He was 11. Able to maintain this state of mind throughout the whole ordeal. And the sun rose high up in the sky. One of the guards woke up from the sun's heat. What time is it? No answer. The other guard was in deep sleep. Hey, you idiot. Wake up. It's almost noon. Ha, oh, my head is killing me. What time is it? That's what I'm asking you. The drowsy guard, who still seemed unconscious, pulled out the chain watch from his shirt pocket. It's 11:20. The other guard started cursing. The guard who pulled out his watch went back to sleep. The other guard kicked him. Wake up, you idiot. Do you want to get us all fired? The guards were all asleep, including the consultant and the bakery employee. They were scattered in different places in the front garden and near the gate. The two guards started waking the other guards up. They all seemed to be tired and fatigued and not believing it was nearly noon. They all seemed to have headaches as well. One of the guards asked, "Is the leader still asleep?" The dumber guard said, "I think he left." Everyone looked at him with sudden interest. One of them said, "What do you mean he left?" "I'm not sure if it was a dream or not, but I was very tired and it was windy. I could have sworn I saw him and his family leave out of the back door." The guard seemed puzzled. "What now?" "I don't know." "What do you think?" said one of the guards to the consultant. 12. Don't involve me in this. If the leader has abandoned his duties, to hell with him.